Whether you're a veteran of Five Nights at Freddy's or a new fan still piecing together the chaos, there's always been one debate that refuses to die. What was the true ending of FNaF? Some believe it all ended in FNaF 3 when William Afton met his fate, trapped inside the same springlock suit that defined his legacy, while others claim the real ending came later in FNaF 6 when every last animatronic, including Afton himself, was burned to nothing. Two fires, two finales, but only one can truly close the book on FNAF's story. So, which is it? Hey everybody, I'm Jeeps, and today we're finding out which ending actually ends Five Nights at Freddy's. Consider subscribing to help us on our journey to 1K subscribers, and with that said, let's begin. As a quick note, I won't be diving too deep into the gameplay or mechanics here alongside anything within the novels. We're mainly just focusing on what really matters here, which is the endings. Each of these games will get their own deep dive later on, but for now, let's start with FNAF 3. Released on March 2nd, 2015, FNAF 3 introduced a ton of new ideas. Only one real animatronic that could kill you, a heavier focus on audio and camera management, but what made this game truly special wasn't the gameplay, it was the secrets. Hidden throughout each night, there were clues and minigames that led to the true ending, something most players never saw. If you just played normally surviving all 5 nights, you'd reach an ending where a group of ghostly children slowly corner William Afton. Panicked, he scrambles into a springlock suit, and the lock snaps shut, killing him instantly. Then, the screen fades to black. The bad ending appears, each animatronic's face still glowing, and their souls still trapped. But here's where things get really interesting. To unlock the true ending, you have to complete a series of hidden steps throughout each night, triggering specific minigames using subtle hints and obscure interactions. It's tedious, but it's worth it. Each minigame ends with you either getting a cake or giving out one to a crying child, and on the 5th night, you finally give a cake to the last child on their happiest day, their birthday, setting every soul free. You can see them all: Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, Freddy, Golden Freddy, even the puppet, their balloons floating into the sky as their spirits ascend. Then, when you finish the final night and Afton dies again, the screen fades to the end. But this time, the animatronic heads are dark, their souls are gone, they're finally at peace. So, what does this mean? Well, FNAF 3 actually has 2 endings that split the story in completely different directions. Option 1, FNAF 3 ends right here, the ghosts are freed, Afton's gone, and the pizzeria burns to ash. A perfect conclusion almost. Or option 2, the souls never found peace, they stayed trapped, forcing the story to continue into the chaos that follows. Kind of unsatisfying, right? You see, back when FNAF 3 released, a lot of fans did believe that this was the end, and honestly, it would have been a pretty poetic finale. Afton dies by his own creation, the kids are freed, and the cycle breaks. But here's the problem. That was nearly a decade ago, and if there's one thing Scott loves more than closure, it's twisting the bad ending into the real one. Which brings us straight into FNAF 6, Pizzeria Simulator. Now honestly, most people thought Pizzeria Simulator was a joke, and can you blame them? Look at the name. After years of horror and death, the last thing anyone expected was Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. You buy decorations, upgrade your restaurant, play a few mini-games, seems pretty harmless, right? Except it's not. This game actually hides more secrets than any other FNAF title before it. Buried beneath some of the minigames and cheesy music is one of the most darkest, most cinematic finales in the entire series. Here's what's really going on. Each night, animatronics from older locations, Baby, Molten Freddy, Scrap Trap, start showing up at your alley door. Henry, William Afton's old business partner, walks you through the process of running your own Fazbear franchise, but his calm tone hides something much bigger. Every choice you make is a part of his plan. You test the animatronics, complete nightly tasks, and if you accept every sponsor, take in every animatronic, and survive on top of that, you will unlock the completion ending. Henry reveals that the restaurant was never meant to be a normal business. Instead, it was a trap built to gather all the remaining haunted animatronics in one place. And once they're all inside, he would activate the final phase, burning the entire building down to destroy the animatronics, erase the remnant, and free the trapped souls once and for all. This This ending still gives me chills, and Henry's final words alongside the fire consuming everything just felt like the perfect send-off for the entire series. But that raises the real question. Was this truly the canon ending of FNaF, or did the story already end back in FNaF 3? Well, for one, in order to really understand this, we need to take a look back at FNaF 3. If the souls of the children really were truly freed in that game, then everything that happens afterward basically falls apart, because the main catalyst to William Afton was already springlocked, at least looking from a game perspective and not the novels. That means no more experiments, no remnant, no more animatronics possessed by the spirits, almost nothing, assuming this main line of children that were freed were the main children and the only children. The whole chain of events would essentially just stop right there. It would collapse. And that's why I don't think FNaF 3 was ever meant to be the true ending. What makes more sense is that the souls weren't freed, Afton was still trapped inside Springtrap, and Fazbear's Fright was burned down. But here's the key, Afton survived. In Sister Location, one of my personal favorite FNaF games, after you beat the game, you unlock Custom Night. If you finish it on the Golden Freddy preset, you unlock a hidden cutscene. Michael Afton talks to his father, saying he's going to come find him, and that he's still alive. And the part most people miss, the background shows the ruins of Fazbear's Fright, burnt to the ground. Then right at the end, Springtrap steps into frame. Now this is really hard to see because of the contrast and how dark it is, but if you brighten everything, you can really see it in detail. This single shot tells us everything. Fazbear's Fright burned, but Springtrap didn't die. Afton lived on, and the story continues. Not to mention, in the real ending of Sister Location, Michael Afton is even taken over by the animatronics. It's a bad ending, but it is the canon ending that pushes the story forward. This is just something Scott does, and it's very similar to what happened with FNaF 3. Then years later, we reach FNaF 6, and Henry's final speech plays.
Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
This is where Afton finally pays for everything he's done, and if Ultimate Custom Night really is his purgatory, where he relives his pain over and over and over again, then yeah, that's as close to poetic justice as it gets. But of course, that raises another question. If Afton's trapped and the children are finally free, what about Security Breach? What about Help Wanted 2 and the Mimic? That's really the beauty and the curse of FNaF. It has multiple endings and no ending at all. Let me explain. FNaF 3 closes the story of the children, the victims. FNaF 6 closes the story of the Afton family, the legacy. They both serve as finales, just for different parts of the same nightmare. So yeah, even though the series has moved on with new games, books, and timelines, the real emotional closure still belongs to those two moments. The burning of Fazbear Frights and the fire of Pizzeria Simulator. If I had to choose one though, FNaF 6 makes the most sense as the true ending. It's the point where everything comes full circle. The children rest, Afton falls, and the story finally stops repeating, at least for a while. And this smoothly attaches everything from FNaF 3 to 6 to Ultimate Custom Night, where Afton eventually escapes Purgatory and the later games happen where we see Burntrap. MatPat said it in his timeline video, and a variety of other content creators have said it as well, but I really just wanted to throw my mix in on it and say something about it, because honestly this is one of my favorite topics. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider checking out my other breakdown where I cover why FNaF 2 was the perfect sequel. And as always, I'm Jeeps, and I'll see you next time.